Hi, my name is Patrick Desjardins. In this episode, you will learn about the object number that we briefly encountered in the parsing episode. This time, we will see the difference between the number starting with the lowercase and the number starting with an uppercase. This episode explains why using number is better than using parseInt or parseFloat. Finally, we will see how it can return nan as well as when to rely on number with an uppercase and when not. First of all, let's differentiate the lowercase number from the uppercase. As you can see, there are 4 ways to initialize and declare a number. The first one is to set the value after the colon to the lowercase number. It is the most used way and is the syntax you will code the most. The lowercase n for number is for the primitive type. Hence, the variable n1 is a primitive number. The second line is never used in practice. It is very confounding. The type at runtime is a number with a lowercase n, and the initialized value is a number while having an explicit number with an uppercase n. Thus, in the end, it is a number like the primitive type with a declaration of an object. The issue with n2 is that it is not possible to use n2 variable where a type number with a lowercase is declared. TypeScript will only allow the primitive number lowercase, and since the type is an object, will raise a transpilation error. Let's examine the n1 and n2 with a function that takes 2 parameters. The first parameter is a number with a lowercase, and the second parameter is number with an uppercase. We can logically use n1 and n2, it compiles. Also, we can use n1 and n1, it compiles. However, n2 cannot fit in the first parameter because an object does not fit into a primitive lowercase number. So we cannot use a function with n2 and n2, for example. Another difference is also that with the new keyword when initializing the value using the number with an uppercase n, using the uppercase without new parse the information into the primitive type number lowercase. The ECMAScript spec 15.7.1 mentions that using new create a wrapper while without perform a conversion. What you need to remember are 2 things. You can use a number with an uppercase for converting, and that you should always use the lowercase n number, the primitive type, when you desire to store a number in a variable. Other than parsing, the object number exists to provide methods. For example, you can use the number.isNan, which is a function related to a number that the primitive number does not have, but the object carries. You do not need to instantiate the number to get the method. For example, number.isNan that we saw in a previous lesson is accessible directly from the object. In the example, we can see that we check if the number 1 is nan and if it is an integer with the function isInteger. In both cases, we use a number with uppercase without instantiating the number object. Then the uppercase n number is the perfect choice to cast. It combines parseInt and parseFloat, thus do not need to think about if the string is an integer or a float. Also, it still works with many bases if they are written in the OX, OO, or B format. If the variable to cast is an empty string, it returns 0, and has better handling when the value is infinity to infinity instead of nan, and catches much error like 00999 to nan instead of 0. It also converts true and false to 1 and 0 instead of nan. Another interesting feature of number cast is that an object is passed, it will look for the value of function and parse the value of value with the same set of rules. For example, the value of return 1 will return 1, and the value of a function that returns through return also 1. When parsing, we can expect the return of nan if cannot convert to a number. For example, parsing 1 to 3 impossible returns 1 to 3 for parseInt, but nan for number. The response of number is more natural for many people. The number object contains more than a function, but also many constants. For example, if you want to have an accurate epsilon value, you can use number.epsilon. Many other constants exist, like the maximum value possible for a number. To conclude, you should rely on number to cast without having to use the new keyword. The good of the number with uppercase is not when initializing with new, but when used as a function, or when used to access functions and constant. Parsing should be performed with number, uppercase, and lowercase number for all the other cases. So here we are again. We are at a fork where you need to make a decision. Would you like to learn about big int or to learn about how to parse a number into a string? Regardless of your choice, it is the good one, because it is your choice. See you soon.